السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين، أما بعد.
فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Welcome back to another session of Al-Qaida Nooraniyyah. Inshallah, in this session we're going to study الدرس العاشر, the 10th lesson, in which we have the topic of as-sukun to discuss. So in the beginning, let's talk about the color codes that the Sheikh used in the book to indicate certain rules. So we have been talking about this thing right from the beginning itself. Here we have the color codes for the rules that apply to the sukun with a letter. So if a particular letter has a sukun, it could be one of the three cases. So these are called the qualities of letters or the attributes of letters. Certain letters have the quality of shidda. We call it shidda. Shidda. Sorry. Shidda. Okay? So shidda يعني strength. Shidda يعني applying strength. So الحروف الشديدة are the letters that have the quality of shidda in them, and these letters are 8 in number, and you can memorize them in the form of a mnemonic, which is ajidu, 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 qatin, qatin, bakat, bakat, ajidu, qatin, bakat. So a hamza, ji jim, du dal, hamza jim dal, ajidu. Qa qaf, tin ta. Don't get confused with the noon sound in the end, because that noon sound is with the tanween. To make it in a sentence, you have to use tanween there. But noon is not among the shidda letters. Okay? So qatin, qaf and ta. Ba, ka, kaf, ista, bakat. أجد قطن بكت همزة جيم دال قاف طا با كاف تا. These 8 letters are called the letters of shidda, the letters with the quality of shidda in them, or al-huruf al-shadida. Now, why are they called the strong letters, or the letters with, strength in them? That is because when you pronounce these letters, you have to close the oral cavity or close the point of articulation, and apply pressure on the point of articulation so that completely the oral cavity is closed for a moment, and then you open it. Like, for example, when you say hamza, you're applying strength on your throat. Say you're not saying okay? So see, you're applying strength on the point of articulation on your throat. For jim, you say ja, ja. You do not say ja, ja, okay? It should not be like French ja, or, easy jim. It should be a strong ja, ja, okay? You apply pressure on the middle of the tongue, with the middle of the tongue on the upper palate, the bony upper palate, to pronounce jim, jim, not jim, jim, okay? So you apply strength, dal. You will not say nal, like that. Don't keep your mouth loose when you try to pronounce these letters. Apply the pressure on the fleshy palate using the back of the tongue. Ta, okay? Ba, close your lips properly. Ka, like kaf, ka. Then ta. These letters if you apply sukoon to them, they also have the clear quality of shidda. Like, for example, for the hamza, you would say ba fatha, hamza sukoon, ba. But also, an important point to remember is that for other letters, if you're observing the qualities, you would apply a sukoon on them and apply hamza fatha before. But for hamza, if you want to observe the qualities of hamza, you would not apply hamza fatha, hamza sukoon. It is not liked in Arabic to have two hamzas together unless it's absolutely necessary. So you would not write hamza fatha, hamza sukoon. Instead, you will use ba, the second letter of Arabic alphabet. Ba, you will use ba fatha, hamza sukoon, ba, ba, to observe the qualities of hamza. Okay, so see, ba, and then hamza fatha, jim sukoon, aj, aj, ad, aqo, ato, ab. And these two have a quality of hums, which is air. When you pronounce them, you should not use the vocal cords, you should use the air, like ak, ak. You should not say ak, right? You should not bounce them. Don't say ak, ak. These are wrong. Ak, see, light air comes out. Ak, at, right? So these are shidda letters, and these letters have you have to give short time when you pronounce these letters. So you should not give a long time, like ab, at, not like that. Short, just cut the sound and go ahead. Ab, at, ako, aj. Okay, short time. The second one is al-huruf al-bayniyah. We'll come back to this in a moment when we study al-rakhawa first. Okay, al-huruf al-rakhawa, the last one you see. Al-rakhawa is softness, opposite to shidda. Shidda is strength, al-rakhawa is softness. So basically what you do is you don't apply a lot of pressure on the makhraj, just do not close the makhraj, keep it open and the sound keeps running. Here the sound cuts in shadida, like aj, ad, aqo. Okay, the sound does not run like aj. This is running sound, which would be wrong if you applied the running sound quality to jim or these letters, basically, because these letters are with shidda, so they cut and they go fast. You give short time there. But in rakhawa, you keep the makhraj open, keep the oral cavity open, or the point of articulation of the letter is open, and the sound runs here. Okay, the sound runs. So basically, all the letters that come under rakhawa, and there are 15 letters, by the way, leaving 8 of shidda and 5 of bayniyah. You have 15 remaining letters in ar-rakhawa, and all those letters are pronounced by keeping the sound running and by keeping the makhraj open. For example, you have seen, like you say as. Okay, do not say like asa. This is bouncing. This will be wrong. And it's kind of like you're applying pressure on the makhraj and then kind of bouncing it. No. Keep it running like as. Bismillahi, not bismillahi, this will be wrong. So this al-rakhawa is given blue color in the next lesson to indicate that this letter has the quality of rakhawa, and here you should give long time, okay, comparatively long time, to let the letter run with the with the voice or with the air, like as, like za, as. Now these two have the same point of articulation. The tip of the tongue touches the lower incisors when you pronounce sin and za. But in sin, you're using air. So you have hums in sin where you use just to the air. Okay? As. Okay. And then for za, you have a quality called jahr. جهر يعني you use the voice when you pronounce it. And you apply, you depend on the makhraj. As, as, as. So as. Okay? So both of them are running if you observe. As is also running, as is also running. If you were to say as a, that would be wrong because that would be applying the quality of shidda and bouncing the letter, which is wrong. So see, both of them, shidda letters are pronounced in a different way and rakhawa letters are pronounced opposite to that by letting the sound run. And then you have البينية. البينية are بين هذا وذاك يعني بين الشدة والرخاوة. Between بينية يعني betweeners. It's like saying betweeners. So these letters are between shidda and rakhawa. What does that mean? It means that you give half of shidda and half of rakhawa. Shidda and rakhawa together become bayniya. We also call it at-tawassut. At-tawassut. Or just tawassut without al. Okay. Tawassut is also moderation. Tawassut is wasat. Wasat is bayna, same meaning. So it is between shidda and rakhawa. So half of shidda and half of rakhawa gives tawassut or bayniya. Bayniya or tawassut. Okay. You can call it either of them. There are 5 letters of tawassut. Lin Umar. You can memorize them using the mnemonic Lin Umar. Lin Umar. Okay, so Lin, Lam and Noon, Umar, Ain, Mim and Ra. These letters have half shidda, half rakhawa. See, in Lam, when you pronounce Lam, the frontal part of the tongue completely touches the upper palate, stopping the sound to come out. Hence, it has shidda. When the sound, when the makhraj is closed, when the point of articulation is closed, that part is shidda. And the sound comes from the sides of the tongue. Observe this. Al, al. So frontal part of the tongue is stopping the sound, hence shidda, and the sides of the front of the tongue are pronouncing the letter ra. The sound is coming out of the sides. So it has rakhawa. Okay, but in lam, for ra, it is slightly opposite. Here, the middle of the tongue forms a little bit of dip, and the sides of the front part of the tongue touch the upper palate. So in the sides, it is shidda. But this part slightly touches the upper palate and moves away to pronounce the sound of ra. So in the frontal part, it is rakhawa. So for ra, it is opposite to lam. Ar, al, ar. So half shidda and half rakhawa, hence tawassut. For ayn, half of the throat is closed and the other half is open. So you remember this epiglottis or the lisan mizmar in your throat. When it comes closer to the back of the throat, but it does not close completely. A'lamu. Okay? Not is wrong. Okay, do not close your throat. So this half part which is closed is shidda, and this half part which is open for the sound to come out is rakhawa. Shidda and rakhawa together makes tawassut. Now noon and mim are left. Noon and mim have 2 points of articulation, one in the oral cavity, another in the nasal passage. So the nasal passage is open when you pronounce both the letters, but the oral cavity is closed, like an. The tongue touches the upper palate, closing the oral cavity, but the sound is running from my nose. So basically, there is shidda in the mouth and rakhawa in the nose because the sound is stopping in the mouth and sound is running in the nose. Similarly, mim, your lips are closed, the makhraj, so it is shidda in the lips, and rakhawa in the nose because the sound is running from the nose. Okay? So you give medium time to the tawassut or bayniya letters. So to sum up, shidda gets short time, rakhawa gets comparatively long time, because don't give very long, like don't say as. That is obviously not natural, but try to give naturally longer time compared to shidda and bayniya. Bayniya or tawassut gets medium time. Let's take one example from each. I'm going to take jim from here. I'm going to take meme from here randomly. And I'm going to take, I like sin. So I'm going to take sin here. So let's see. Ajit. Ajit. Okay. Um, as, ajit, as. See, shortest time for jim, medium time for meme, and comparatively longer time for sin. So that is what we're going to use in sukun. And we have to be very careful when pronouncing the letters with sukun. It's not just pronouncing the letter, it's also giving the letters its all due qualities. So all the qualities are really clear when there's a sukun on the letter. So you have to be careful when you pronounce a letter with sukun. Let's go on ahead and start reading the lesson. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الدرس العاشر السكون. This sign right here is called sukun. همزة فتحة با سكون أب. همزة كسرة با سكون إب. أب إب. همزة ضمة با سكون أب. أب إب أب. Now the quality in the green color letters is called qalqala. Al-qalqala, or just qalqala without al. Okay, so qalqala yani the bouncing kind of sound, the sound that kind of bounces. This happens when there's shidda and jahar together. In shidda, you close your oral cavity for a moment and then open, but you open it with jahar. Jahar is using the voice. So see, there's two ways you can pronounce the ba sound. See, ab, b, using the vocal cords, and ab. This is using just the air. I'm not using the vocal cords anymore. But the second one is wrong. Okay? So if you say ab, this is wrong. If you say ab, this is correct. Using the voice, and the sound is loud when you pronounce it. And when you open your lips, you hear the bouncing sound. And that bouncing sound is called qalqala. Okay? Qalqala is roughly either a bouncing sound or echoing sound, the echo that you hear in the end, b, this part. So qalqala is green in color. Okay, now you do not see qalqala here in the previous this one, in this part. You saw tan color for shidda letters like that here, and purple for bayniya, and blue for rakhawa letters. And most of the letters are rakhawa. But see, jim is here, ba is here, and these have got green color here, which means the quality of shadida or shidda is also present in the letters which are qalqala letters. Or in other words, shidda letters have qalqala in them in these five letters. Jim, dal, qaf, ta, ba. And if you remember, in the lesson where we did the short alif, الألف الصغيرة والواو الصغيرة والياء الصغيرة, small alif, small waw, small ya. After that lesson, we studied al-qalqala, and the color code given for qalqala was green. Just let's go back once and just, this one. See, حروف القلقلة, قاف, طا, با, جيم, دال, these are green in color, which means shidda letters have qalqala, and if there is qalqala in them, they will be green in color. If they don't have qalqala, they will be tan or brown in color, or you'll not bounce the letter. Okay, so we said ab, ib, ub. Hamza fatha ta sukun at. Hamza kasra ta sukun it. At, it. Hamza dhamma ta sukun ut. at, it, ut. Okay, so give only air, don't give voice, don't bounce it, like don't say atta, itta, utta. Okay, say at, it, ut. Use a little bit of air. Don't use a lot of air saying at, it, ut. That would be wrong. Just a little bit of air. When the shidda letters have a little bit of air when you pronounce them with hums. At, it, ut. That's it. Hamza fatha tha sukun ath. Hamza kasra tha sukun ith. Ath, ith. Hamza dhamma tha sukun uth. Ath, ith, uth. These are rakhawa letters. They're going to run a little bit. Hamza fatha jim sukun aj. Hamza kasra jim sukun ij. Aj, ij. Hamza dhamma jim sukun uj. Aj, ij, uj. Now be careful. Do not stretch the sound of qalqa. Don't say aj, ij, uj. Your oral cavity should not remain closed for a long time. It's just like a cutting sound. It just closes for a moment and then opens immediately. So aj, ij, uj. Not aj, ij, uj. That is wrong. Okay? Fast. Aj, ij, uj. همزة فتحة حا سكون أح. همزة كسرة حا سكون إح. أح، إح. همزة ضمة حا سكون أح. أح، إح، أح. Now, ha is obviously among the letters that take a lot of breath. So breathe well and start. همزة فتحة خا سكون أخ. همزة كسرة خا سكون إخ. أخ، إخ. همزة ضمة خا سكون أخ. أخ، إخ، أخ. Now these are heavy letters. Kha. So you have to pronounce them with isti'ala, raising the back of the tongue, and the middle forms a pit. Akh, not akh. Akh. See? Ich, not ich. Ich. Ukh, not ukh. Ukh. Hamza fatha dal sukun ad. Hamza kasra dal sukun id. Ad, id. Hamza dhamma dal sukun ud. Ad, id, ud. Again, qalqala, cut it fast and bounce it and continue. Don't say ad, id, ud. That would be wrong. Ad, id, ud. Hamza fatha dhal sukun adh. Hamza kasra dhal sukun idh. Adh, idh. Hamza dhamma dhal sukun udh. Adh, idh, udh. Now be very careful in pronouncing dal. Most of the students make mistake of bouncing it. Like وَإِذَا قَالَ, وَإِذَا. No, that is wrong. وَإِذْ قَالَ. So the middle of the tip of the tongue is slightly out and pressing against the edges of the upper incisors. But you keep your tongue there, depend on the makhraj and use the voice. Don't say if like a tha. وَإِذْ قَالَ completely changed the word. وَإِذْ قَالَ, وَإِذْ قَالَ. So remember, tha and dhal are pronounced using the same point of articulation, but tha has air in it, ath, ith, uth, and dhal has voice in it, adh, idh, udh. So you kind of hear the vibrating sound, the way your phone makes sound when you get a message when it's on vibrating mode. Adh, idh, udh. Okay? Do not bounce dal. Don't say adha, idha, udh. That is completely wrong. طيب. همزة فتحة را سكون أر. همزة كسرة را سكون إر. أر، إر. همزة ضمة را سكون أر. ar, ir, ur. Ra has a quality of takrir, which is like, repeating, the tongue trills on the makhraj repeatedly, like rrr. This is not allowed if your tongue trills a lot on the makhraj, like rrr is wrong. Do not let your tongue trill a lot, but don't say r, ear, or like r. This is called ra mudallala, yani the ra which people say with love, like when someone is coddled and they don't pronounce the letters properly. So coddle ra, like that. We call it like that. So don't say r, ir, or say ar, ir, ur. That's it. A slight vibration at the makhraj, but not a lot. And maximum amount of trilling allowed is 3 times. Ar, 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 3. More than 3 is wrong. So it's not allowed to say ar, ir, ur, like that. Also, ra with the sukoon has different rules of heaviness and lightness. If you see a fatha or dhamma before, then it is heavy. So ur and ar. Don't say ur, ar. Those are wrong. Ur, ar. No. Ur, ar. Full mouth. And with a kasra before, it is light. Ir, not ir. Ir. Hamza fatha za sukun az. Hamza kasra za sukun is. Is. Hamza dhamma za sukun uz. Is. Uz. Also za, let your tongue stay at the makhraj and use the voice. Don't say aza, iza, uza, don't bounce. And do not use the air, like as, is, us. That is wrong. Seen, it becomes seen when you use the air, which is our next letter. But here, as, is, us, the buzz sound, the sound of buzzing. Okay? Hamza fatha sin sukun as. Hamza kasra sin sukun is. Is. Hamza dhamma sin sukun us. Is. Us. Here the sound runs and it's just a hissing sound. Hamza fatha shin sukun ash. Hamza kasra shin sukun ish. Ish. Hamza dhamma shin sukun ush. Ish. Ush. Okay, sheen has the quality of tafashi, the sound like a spray kind of sound, spreads in the mouth. This sound. طيب همزة فتحة صاد سكون أص. همزة كسرة صاد سكون إس. إس. همزة ضمة صاد سكون أس. إس. أس. The difference between sin and thad, we have gone over this before. Sin is light letter, so S. Thad is heavy letter, so us. Us. Okay, difference. Sin light, thad heavy. Okay. Hamza fatha dad sukun ad. Hamza kasra dad sukun id. Id. Hamza dhamma dad sukun ud. Id. Ud. Now, dad has a special quality called istitala. Istitala is where you stretch the sound of the letter slightly to be pronounced properly. So, istitala is when there is a dad with a sukun or dad with a shadda. Your oral cavity completely closes, so you're putting pressure here to pronounce dad, and this entire area is completely attached to the upper palate. So this part in the middle is completely empty. So the air keeps coming from the throat and kind of fills in this area. So the tongue slightly moves toward the front. So when you say ab, you feel like your mouth is kind of filling with air. This part is completely filling with air. But the trick is, don't remove your tongue when pronouncing the sound from the throat. Like, don't say ab. This case, it became qalqala. Now, if you observe, this is neither a shidda letter, nor does it have a green color. So it's not a qalqala letter either. So you should not say adu, idu, udu. And even when you do istitala, you give 1.5 to 2, a quarter to 2 harakat, like ab or ab, okay? Until you feel like your mouth is full of air. And then you slowly remove the tongue after stopping the sound from your throat. See? Ab. Now I'm removing my tongue, so you do not hear when I removed my tongue from the upper palate. On the contrary, if you say ab, you remove your tongue, but your voice is still coming out of your throat, it kind of becomes qalqala. Ab, ab. This is also air. It is also not right. Ab. This air is also not correct. You should neither hear air or the voice when removing the tongue after pronouncing dad with sukoon, especially dad with sukoon. You need to practice it well, like al ard, not ard, okay? Neither should you say al ard. This slight air is also wrong in the end. So id, ud, you kind of feel full air in the mouth, and then you stop the sound from your throat first, and then you remove the tongue without letting it make any sound. So you gently remove the tongue from the upper palate. Hamza fatha ta sukun ato. Hamza kasra ta sukun ito. Ato, ito. Hamza dhamma ta sukun uto. Ato, ito, uto. So this is the heaviest letter of Arabic alphabet. Also, you should bounce it. Okay, so to, like that. Ato, ito, uto. Hamza fatha va sukun av. Hamza kasra va sukun il. Av, il. Hamza dhamma va sukun uv. Av, il, uv. Okay, so these are all the letters we have here, but obviously there are more letters, like 27 letters completely that you have to practice with sukoon. So inshallah, in the lessons after this, we're going to practice the words with sukoon on some letters in them, like the words with sukoon. So there we'll have all the letters and we'll practice all of them bi'idhnillah. For now, this is all we have for this lesson. Hopefully, I tried to explain everything in the best way that I can. If there are any mistakes in this lesson, they're either from me or from Shaitan, and Allah is free from all the mistakes. All the good comes only from Allah.
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.